Good morning or noon. It's coming to noon. Hope you guys enjoyed my show I made yesterday. Today's my 30th day, guys. I went to the pool place. 30 fucking days. Oh, you actually went for 1 month? Yeah. This Sunday marks the 1 month I've been going to the pool place. It's crazy. I remember when I started going in day 1, and now I'm day 30 at the pool place. Crazy, man. Alright, but are you really going to start your pro hockey league? No, guys. My dream is to be a movie star, BJ. It's not. That'd be my second choice, but I'm choosing movies over the pro hockey league. It's common sense, man. Even VJ would be like, Ivan, you're crazy. You'd rather be a pro hockey actor than be a movie star. I'm like, no. I'd rather be a famous movie star with the Hollywood actors. It's much cooler being a famous movie star than being a pro athlete. Come on, man. The Hollywood actors. VJ's like, Ivan, man, like, even though you'll be a famous pro athlete, we'll be way more famous in movies. I know. VJ. I'll be much more famous as a movie star. That's why I'm sorry, it's got to say VJ. I just make these videos to entertain you guys. I'm just throwing it out there, right? Yeah. All the NHL athletes are Ivan, like, even though I'd love to see you as a pro athlete, I'd rather see you as a movie star. And if you start that pro league, Ivan, you're gonna make us feel like shit because you're gonna make us feel like you missed out on opportunity. Yes, exactly. All those NHL athletes missed out on opportunity, missed out on the opportunity to be world famous. As hypothetically speaking, the athletes playing in my league will be more famous than Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Patrick Mahomes. More famous than all those guys. I know. Yeah. They signed mega deals too. Yeah. Well, I told you, man, that hypothetically speaking, the only way a player in my league, even though I'm not going to start the league, but if I did start the league, the only way a player in my league would make their 50, 40, $50 million if the guy's a generational talent. Like Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Connor David, those guys can bargain for their $40 to $50 million. As if those guys were born in a new generation, they played my league. Because they're greedy pigs, they demand their 40 plus million. Like Connor David would probably demand 50 million because he has such a rare talent. Sidney Crosby would probably demand around the same thing, maybe 48. Those guys would make pretty much around the same thing, right? They played my league, right? Ovechkin would make around the same thing too. They play my league because they're all generational talents, obviously. Guys from Sarah. Yeah. So they'd be signing 500, like 10. If they signed that five. Yes, I said $300 million. No, guys, I'm wrong. They'd be signing like 10-year, $500 million deals. But if you were to include the league revenue, they're signing like a $700 million, 10-year, $700 million. I'm not playing around, man. You're making $70 million a year. No, they'd be signing like a $600 million deal around there. 10-year, $580 million deal guys be signing. Like, these are mega fucking deals, man. Huge deals. Look, these guys are making more money than guys like LeBron James and all these athletes. And by the time they retire, they'd be worth at least their $300 plus million by the time they retire. Because you have taxes and all that stuff, right? Don't forget that, right? You have taxes. They'd be worth at least their $250, $300, $400 after they retire, right? $250, $300 every time to be rich. Honestly. Alright, man, you're fucking generous. Yeah, I'm generous because I'm making my tens of millions every year. So it doesn't hurt to pay the star athletes a lot of money. But if they get greedy and they want more money, yeah. So if a star athlete in my league made $100 million a season, if they signed a 10-year deal, that's a $1 million deal, a 10-year $1 million deal, which is never going to happen. I would never pay an athlete that. That's crazy. The athlete's duping you. I'm not going to go any higher than $70 million a year for an athlete. Obviously, the GMs can pay the athletes what they want, but if a star generational talent athlete wants $60, $70 million, the GM would say, no, we can't pay you that. You're going to drain the whole cap. There's other players we have to pay. The highest it would go is probably that Patrick Mahomes money. $50 million for a player. It would go, the GMs. I told you, the only way a player would ever make $40, $50 million in my league is if the guy has rare talent like Ovechkin, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, Crosby. Those guys can get their $40, $45, $50 million. The guys that start talent, but he's not a generational talent, those guys probably won't get any more than $30 million, right? But the guys that start player, but they're not generational talent, like new talent, those guys can get their 30, or 28, or 25, or 20, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even if you get 20, obviously, and you get, I don't know, $5 million of the league revenue every year, you still sign your $250 million deal, a 10-year $250 million deal, man. The NHL players don't make this kind of money, man. They don't see that kind of money in the league, man. They don't make that kind of money, man. They don't make that kind of money. So Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid would be signing $400+ million deals if they played in my league, because they'd obviously kill the league and they'd be legends in my league. They would make that money. Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux would have signed those deals too if they played in my league. The Boy generation, and they were legends in my league. They would have made that money, man. And that's why they're all gonna like shit. They miss on opportunity, and all these athletes are making way more money than what we made in the NHL. Yeah, obviously. But I heard Wayne Gretzky made a lot of. I heard Wayne Gretzky made like peaked at $20 million in the NHL. Because Wayne Gretzky was a generational talent too for his time. Obviously, no one dominated the hockey the way he did. Obviously, that's why he was so viable to the NHL. They paid him like, I heard he peaked at like $20 million when Gretzky. Yeah, that's how valuable when Gretzky was in the NHL. No NHL player today can peak at 20, but Wayne Gretzky I heard peaked at 20 because that's how special he was. He was so viable to the NHL back then, and no one dominated the NHL in their prime the way Wayne Gretzky did. That's why Wayne Gretzky I heard peaked at 20. NHL players today can't peak at 20. They peak at like 16, maybe 17 million if you're lucky. Highest paid player in the NHL, I believe, is Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews makes like $60 million. Which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but if those guys played in my league, they'd be making their 40+ million, right? They're making way more money than what they make in the NHL. You also get a piece of the league revenue, but only the star players get a piece of league revenue. The good players and average players don't get shit. Yeah. Sarah? Do you think they would be locked down and strike? Yeah, they would. Some of the players in the league might think like Ivan, the league is taking advantage of us. You know what I'm saying? But the committee will tell the players, look, man, the only reason why this league is making this kind of money, you guys know it, man, it's because of Ivan. Ivan has the keys. He's the main event. He's powerful. The league is kept afloat because of Ivan. He deserves these billions. He put money into this league. Well, the majority of the billions goes to him, but he's nice enough to put billions back into the league, guys. And that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the teams in my league will have an operating budget of like $500, $600 million a season. Like an operating budget per season it's a huge budget, man. Yeah, because I'm putting so much money back into the league. Like the NFL and the NHL don't have that kind of money. They don't have that kind of operating budget. They don't have that kind of money, those leagues. Like some NHL some NHL teams are bleeding. They're losing money, man. NHL doesn't have access to that kind of capital, man. That's what my league will blow the NHL the water. Yeah. But some players might say, man, enough's enough. You know what I'm saying? I think you're getting greedy, man. This league is making tens of billions. We're making the peanuts. Look, man, the only reason why this league is making this money is because of me, man. It's not because of you guys. Yeah, I think like we're star players. Yeah, you're star players. You're making the gaming experience better, obviously. And the fans love you. But the league is making this money mainly because of me, not because of you. If I did not play in this league wouldn't see this kind of money. This league will be lucky to do maybe 20 billion, 22 billion if I did play. Because I'm playing in leagues making, I don't know, $50 million. You know what I'm saying? The star athletes have a small part to play because they're killing the league and the fans love them and they're making the game experience better. They're making the experience entertain their product, their stars are the product of the game. They're making the game experience better, obviously, and the fans love them. They love seeing them play. So if they want a raise, give them a raise. But these guys want like a $100 million raise for the saga. I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to have these guys dupe me. They're not worth that. Yeah. Because the athletes know, okay, if we get a $100 million raise for the salary cap, obviously, we can now bargain for our $70 million a year salary. Because the players are, some of the star players, let's say that there's a generational talent like Carl Reyes and Crosby. Some of the star players might get cocky and they want their $80, $90, $100 million yearly salary. But so you think I'm gonna sign you to a 10-year billion deal? Are you fucking crazy? You're not worth that, man. Like, I'm not going to have you guys peak at any more than like $500 million. The moment you sign a 10-year, $1 billion deal, you're ripping me off and you're duping me. Yeah, it's nothing. I'm like, I know it's nothing, but I'm not going to pay you that, man. I'm not going to have you guys do, man. You're not worth that. That's why my league will blow all these sport leagues out of the water, hypothetically speaking. It'll even blow the NFL out of the water, man. My league will be making more money than the NFL. No. And the NBA. NFL peaks at $22 billion in revenue every year. My league will beat that. My league will do maybe $56 billion in revenue, $70 billion in revenue, maybe even $80 billion in revenue. I have the keys, right? Yeah. It'll blow the NFL out of the water, and I'll have bigger operating budgets than the NFL. So let's say I make $30 billion in profit off the league. If I take, I don't know, $17 billion, I pocket $17 billion, I put $13 billion back in the league. That's each team has a seasonal operating budget of $500 million for one season. Like, that's unheard of, man. Like the NFL and the NHL and these leagues don't have that kind of money, man. They don't have operating budgets like that. No, they don't. They don't have that kind of have that kind of operating budget. Yeah. Obviously, that way your league is healthy, obviously. Yeah, we have to put $200 million back into the cap for each season. So yeah, so if I put $13 billion back into the league, you split it equally to the 25 teams. Each team has an operating budget next season of $500 million. That's more than enough to pay your bills. Yeah, that's more than that's a lot of money, man. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, that's way more than enough. You put $200 million towards the salary cap for each team. You still have a $300 million operating budget. You pay your president, your vice president, your coaches. You know what I'm saying? And the court man. Well, the court managers don't affect your budget at all. Those guys don't get paid that much. You know what I'm saying? You pay those guys their salary. And you also have the facility maintenance. Obviously, the traveling expenses, the per dimes, the hotel costs, all paid for by the league, but it's easy for after everything's paid for, the league still has, each team still has maybe $150 million left in operating budget for the team. Even the NFL doesn't have that kind of money, man. The NFL doesn't have a $500 million operating budget for each team. No, the NFL peaks at maybe $80, $100 million operating budget. The NFL makes a lot of money, but it's not the money my league would make, right? The NHL doesn't have operating budgets like that, man. Nah, man. Nah, man. Eggs are good. Sarah? Yeah. So good players, yeah, good players in my league will be signing what the star players make in the NHL. The good players sign like their 130, 140 million deals in my league. And the star players sign their 200 million plus deals, 200, 300, 400, 500 million dollar deal, 600 million deal around there, the stars. But the only way the guy will sign a 500, 600 million dollar deal, like a 10-year deal, is if the guy's a generational talent. If the guy is a star player, but he's not a rare generational talent, those guys will be lucky to get their $300 million deal, $350 million deal max for 10 years, which is still good enough. They don't make that in the NHL. NHL, they peak at like 140, 150. The star players, right? Yeah. And don't forget, you also have the league revenue, right? The star players get a piece of the league revenue, obviously. So if a player makes 20 million, if a star player makes $20 million a season, for 10 years, that's a $200 million deal. And if they get $5 million every season of league revenue, that's an extra $50 million in revenue. That's a $250 million deal. They also make their other money for the commercials and the endorsing stuff, right? Yeah, they make side money. And they also have speaking side money too, obviously. They have other ways they can make money, speaking money too. The community month stuff. All pro athletes do community stuff, right? Where they speak to the people and everything. Because the fans are gonna love them, and the people are gonna want them to come speak. You know what I'm saying? Speak to like hockey kids who have dreams of playing in the NFL. Because now their dreams they want to play in the NFL. Yeah, they speak to those players. You know what I'm saying? Who have dreams of playing. Because now all the hockey athletes in the world, their dreams of playing Ivy League. The SHL, not the NHL. NHL not. They would love to play in the NHL, but their dream now is to play in the SHL. That's their dream. It's not the NHL anymore. Wait, listen, yeah. That's why I say to you guys in Harmony Live, man. I'm not kidding around, man. If you really want to do this, man, you're gonna crush us, man. We're gonna feel like we missed out on opportunity and we missed out on making all that money. Yeah, those guys would have made a lot of money had they played in my league, right? Carmen David would have signed a mega deal, man. Like a 600 million deals, 580, 600 million deals, 8 year, 500, 600 million. He would have signed a mega deal, man, because he would have destroyed my league, and he has work talent. Sidney Crosby would have signed around the same thing, right? Because I told you they're pretty much equal talents when you look at it. You have the back and forth thing going on. But Dave, I think, would make it be more because he has the potential with his speed. Yeah, he's so fast. So the GMs might see McDavid as a little more valuable than Crosby because he has the speed. But because they're equals pretty much, they would make around the same thing. Guys, I'm saying Ovechkin would make around the same thing too. As Crosby and Ovechkin are pretty much equals too when you look at it, right? Yeah, Ovechkin would make around the same thing. Austin Matthews would make around the same thing too. In the end, if they played in my league. It's too late for those guys. I don't hate them, saying, but they would make a lot of money playing in my league, man. Like they don't make that in the NHL. They peak at like 150 million, a 10-year, 150 million deal in the NHL. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what they peak at, right? Yeah. Yeah. They peak at that. Yeah. That's what they peak at. Would VJ be supportive of you if you want to be a pro hockey player? Yeah, she would. She wouldn't really care. Ivan, she would tell me, Ivan, you're crazy. You'd rather be a pro hockey athlete than be a movie star. No, VJ. I'd rather say, yeah, Ivan, if you want to start that league, start that league. I'll support you, but I don't want to play pro hockey, Ivan. She'll tell me, Ivan, do your pro hockey thing. I'll do music. Yeah, VJ, okay, I'll start the music production company. I'll do my albums. You can do your pro hockey thing. That's what VJ would tell me. She would do her music, and I do my album, my pro hockey. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be doing movies with VJ. I have music on the side with VJ. So we're going to be movie stars, and we're going to be doing music together. I'm not starting pro hockey. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. I'm hanging music, yeah. I entertain you guys right now. Yeah, if you put on the show while your bills aren't paying, I know. That's why I'm worth so much money. Don't hang music, yeah. That's why they're like shit. Because all these NHL athletes, even though they're legends in the second best team in the world. I would have loved to have been a legend in Ivan's SHL. Ivan's SHL is a bit more competitive in the NHL. Because now all the best players in the world, most of them are ending up in my league. And the NFL is getting some of the best players. My league will be so competitive that like even some players on the teams that are very amazing players, they get caught and the NFL takes them now. The NHL takes those players, and those cuts in my league now might become great legends in the NHL because my league is so competitive. Yeah. Some Sarah. Will the NHL be seen as a minor league? No. It's still pretty much the best league in the world, but it's number two. It's not number one. My league is better training programs, better facilities, better perks, higher paying work. It's number one. NHL is number two. Just like even when I started Scottish Entertainment, Hollywood is not a C. The actors are still A-list actors and A-list big famous people. They're not C-list actors. They're still A-list actors, right? They're still making their millions, right? Same example there. Well, Hollywood is now number two. Sky Source is number one. You guys see what I'm saying? That's a similar example. Sarah? Because the CFL NFL comparison is not a good example. Because the CFL is a very small tiny league compared to the NFL. CFL only generates about $250 every season in revenue. Which is a lot of money, but compared to 22 billion, that's peanuts, right? The NFL is a much bigger league than the CFL. That's the truth, right? Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, yeah. All two ads are, man, you're a fucking dick, man. Like, you're putting us down like that, man. No, I'm not. I said, look, man, if you didn't get your NFL opportunity, obviously, and you get to be a CFL legend up here, that's still a success. You might see it as a bit of a failure because you didn't get your NFL opportunity. You didn't get the NFL legend. If you can kill the league up here in Canada, be a CFL legend, that's still a success. Obviously, you didn't get to be a multi-millionaire and be like famous like those NFL guys, but you still got to be a little bit famous up here in Canada. The fans who watch the games, they love you. You know what I'm saying? You made a good living. You're not a multi-millionaire, but you made a great living up here. You're living a pretty good life, and you got to be a CFL legend. That's still success. Yeah. That's still success, right? Yeah. Ivan, are CFL players worth their millions? No, they're not. Because the CFL is not, it's not the best players playing in the world. It's the second best players playing in the world. It's not the best players playing. The best players are all in the NFL. And the CFL is the second best football league in the world. That's why it's kind of seen as a minor league. It's not a minor league. It's not a minor league. But because it's not the best players in the world, people kind of see it as a minor league. You have the best Canadian players playing in Canada, playing in the CFL. But the American players are all the players who didn't get their NFL opportunity or their undrafted signed free agents. Obviously, obviously. But there's a lot of CFL players that are good enough to play in the NFL. They just didn't get their they just didn't get that opportunity to play in the NFL. They didn't get that opportunity. Obviously, right? They missed out on the opportunity. Just because a player gets cut, just because a player doesn't is an unsigned undrafted free agent doesn't mean that player is not good enough for the NFL. It just means they weren't lucky, man. They didn't get that opportunity, right? Because there's so many athletes playing in the States. The NFL can't take everybody, right? They take the best players, but just because they take all these players and some of these unsigned undrafted free agents they make the NFL doesn't mean they're not good enough for the NFL. They just didn't get that opportunity, and they end up here and they play pro football, obviously. But you also have the NFL cuts, players who didn't do that good in the camp, they end up here. So because the CFL is getting the leftovers pretty much of the NFL cuts, don't you guys understand? And the players who didn't get their NFL opportunity, the unsigned undrafted free agents end up here. It's not the best players in the world. It's the second best players in the world. The second best players in the world playing in pro football. And the league is not a huge league compared to the Big Four. It's a big league. Like if a league makes $250 million, if a business makes $250 million, that's a lot of money, man. That's a successful business. But if you compare it to like $20 billion the NFL's making, it's peanuts, obviously. You guys can say, huh? That's why CFL players are not worth their millions. They're not worth their millions, and they know it. They're worth their hundreds of thousands. Like a star CFL QB is worth maybe $900,000, $800,000, $1 million max, and the star receivers, it wouldn't hurt for them to make their 500, 600K. They're worth that. They're worth their hundreds of thousands, but they're not worth their millions. And those guys know it. They're not playing in the best league in the world. They're playing in the second best league in the world. Because they're still professional athletes, and the fans love them, it wouldn't hurt for the players to get a raise, but the league, it'll probably take a good 20 years for the league to raise the cap. Maybe 10, 15 years for the league to raise the cap to $75 million. Because the CFL league is greedy, man. They're greedy, obviously. They're cheap, too. Obviously. Man, we don't make the kind of money the NFL makes. I know, guys, but you guys make enough money to give them a raise. You're just greedy. Like, don't forget, the CFL also has their broadcasting deals, too. So they have the league revenue, and they make the TSN pays them $60 million a year for the league. You're telling me you can't raise the cap by a million, $2 million, $3 million? You could, yeah, we can, but like we don't want to do that either. Like, we're paying them enough. But to be fair, the CFL is not the NFL. The CFL is a growing league. They're not making the kind of money the Big Four leagues are making. I understand that. But the league obviously has enough money to give the players a raise, but they're not going to do that. They're greedy, man. They're cheap and greedy. Because I heard my stepbrother told me that the Carleton Ravens have better facilities than the Ottawa Redblacks. Like, that's fucking sad, man. Yeah, man. Because the Carleton Ravens in the CIS, they're one of the richest teams in the league. They're privately owned. They have a private investment. My younger brother told me how he got spoiled with like buffets and everything. And they have like a $1 million, like a $2 million operating seasonal budget or something like that. Something crazy. Yeah, man. They're a rich team. He's like, yeah, man, we have better facilities than the Ottawa Redblacks. Fucking sad. Yeah. He's alright, man. The facilities are not that good, man. The Ottawa Redblacks, because he played for the Redblacks. Yeah, the Ottawa Redblacks facilities are not that good. He told me that. Like I said, but you just see the CFL. It's not that good, man. Yeah, it's not that good, man. Yeah, he told me that, man. Yeah. And I heard teams out east, they don't have chartered flights. They fly commercial with everyone else in the airport. Whereas the teams out west have chartered flights. They fly privately. because they have the Western teams are richer, but the Eastern teams are poorer. They fly commercial with everyone else, obviously. Yeah. Do you think the CFL could afford to fly the players privately? I don't know about that. If they can afford to fly the players privately, I understand. But if you can, but you want to be cheap and hold on to that money, then like that's cold, man. It's pro football. It wouldn't hurt to have the players have chartered flights. I'm sorry. We could afford it, but like we don't make that much money. We gotta hold on to this cash, man. Like them flying commercial, everyone else is good enough. Yeah, because they're cheap, obviously, the CFL. But they might not be able to afford it, right? Because the CFL is not making the kind of money the other leagues are making. Maybe the CFL just can't afford it. If they can't afford it, I understand that. Oh, hey, I'm saying, yeah, I understand that. I'm saying, if you can't afford it, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But if you can afford it and you choose to be cheap like that, I'm just saying, guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But the Western teams have chartered flights. The players have their own team plane and everything. But I heard the Eastern teams don't have that. They fly commercial with everyone else. Yeah, man. My league will have chartered flights for all the players because I can easily afford them. I'm multi-billionaire right now. Yeah. Guys, what's your solution? Before I talk more about my pro hockey league, what's your solution to the CFL making more money? I told you guys my solution. I don't want to be an asshole to all the American rejects. But if you want the league, but you have a dilemma. Like if you do that, the quality of the play will go down because the best Canadian players are not as good as the best. The best American players are a little bit better than the best Canadian players. The Canadian players are a little bit more raw. The American players are not as raw. They're a little bit better. Not all of them are better. Some of the best Canadian talent are even better than some of the American talent, obviously, and they're just as good. They're just as good, obviously. Well, on average, the American players have the edge over the Canadian players because they played in the NCAA. The NCAA is more competitive than the CIS. The CIS is amazing football, but it's not the NCAA. You guys know what I'm saying? So the quality would dip a little bit, but the game would be more popular, guaranteed. Because now you have Canadians playing. The key is get rid of the American rejects and just have your league be a Canadian brand. The league would be more popular. The league would probably generate maybe $350, $400 million guaranteed. It'd be a more popular game. Well, if you think the CFL can peak at $1 billion, no. Football is not popular enough in Canada, but the revenue would go up. The league would make maybe $400 million in revenue. It'd make more money. And the teams can now have a cap of maybe $8, $9, $10 million for the Canadian players. At least an $8 million cap. If you have an $8 million cap, the star QBs can make their $1.3 million, and the receivers can make their $700,000, $600,000. Defensive players can make their $400,000, $500,000. They're making that's a lot of money. They're making a lot of money, obviously, and the league, the game will be more popular. All the American players, man, you're such a fucking dick, man. No, I'm saying, look, man, I'm just saying, man. I'm talking to you, CFL, man. If you want your league to make more money, that's how you make more money. You have to get rid of the American players. All right, we can't do that. Like, we have to give. Yeah, I know it's never gonna happen. You have to give all these American guys who never have their NFL opportunity, because all these guys have dreams of playing pro football, obviously. Because all the American players, their second choice is to see if, okay, my dream is to make the NFL, but if I don't make the NFL, it wouldn't hurt to play pro football up north. Yeah, they have that. The CFL is like their second dream, right? If I don't make the NFL, I would love to play pro football up here in Canada. obviously. So you can't do that to the American guys. The American guys also need to play. They want to play pro football too. You have to give those guys an opportunity too. It's not just about the Canadian guys, right? That's my point. My point is the fans, the Canadian players are worth more than the American players in the CFL. And that's the truth, man. They're worth more because they're Canadian. This is our league. This is the Canadian League, the Canadian Football League. As Nathan Rourke is the most famous quarterback in the CFL. He's number one, the most famous. Everyone's talking about Nathan Rourke all the time, right? Yeah, because he's Canadian. Yeah, he's Canadian. I'm sorry. And that's why the Canadian players, the star Canadian players in CFL, they're worth more than the American players. Because the American players are like a dime a dozen. They're the American NFL rejects. Whereas the Canadian players are the best players in Canada. Hence why they have more value than the American players. Because even though the American players, on average, are a bit better than the best Canadian players, because this is not their league. Their league is in America, and their rejects, they're not as valuable. Whereas the Canadian players in Canada are the greatest players in Canada. Whereas the American players playing in the CFL are not the greatest American players in America. It's the players playing in the NFL who are the greatest players in America. Hence why the Canadian players are worth more than the American players. You guys get the picture? You know what I'm saying? The CFL, all the CFL GMs, man, you're very smart, man. You know your shit. Yes, I am. I know how to blow your minds with. I'm a genius, obviously. You're smart. You know your shit. Yeah. The reason why the Canadian players are worth more than the American players in the CFL because they actually are the greatest players in Canada. Whereas the American players, even though they have a bit of edge over the Canadian players, they're not the greatest players in America. The greatest players in America are all playing in the NFL. That's why, and don't forget, this is the Canadian Football League. That's why they're worth more. The star Canadian players are worth more than the American players in the CFL. That's the truth, man. The GMs are, and that's true. The star Canadian players are more valuable than us. Yes, they are. So if you have all these star Canadian athletes playing in the CFL, the quality would drop, obviously, but the league would make more money, guaranteed. Obviously. Why do you think the GMs and the coaches and all sides should be all Canadian? No, the coaches doesn't matter. Like the coaches, the coaches doesn't matter if they're American or Canadian. The coaches and GMs and presidents and all that stuff, they can be Canadian, American. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But I think the players should just be Canadian players. The league would make more revenue and it would boost the revenue of the league, guaranteed. I know I'm doing. I know what I'm saying, man. That's how the CFL would make more money. If I own the CFL, I would. That's what I would do. Because God gave me the keys. I have the wisdom of God. I know about business and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know, man. I know what I'm talking about, man. Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm sitting in that room hypothetically speaking if I own the CFL, right? Which I'm not going. I don't care about football, obviously, right? They tell me, Ivan, like, how can you make this league better? If I was like an average person and I owned the league or something like that, and I wasn't God, I'll tell them, okay, if you want this league to make money, get rid of the American players. And they're like, all the committee look at me, Ivan, are you crazy? The quality will go down. Yes, the quality will go down, but it'll still be entertaining football. This is how you make more money. I know what I'm doing. Ivan, how do you know that will work? I'm like, okay, all the star players and star QBs in your league, are they more famous than the American guys? Yeah, they are, Ivan. Okay, so if you have all the star athletes who played CIS and NCAA playing in a competitive league, the quality will go down, but you're going to make more money because this is the Canadian Football League. The fans love the Canadian players more, and you market them more, it'll be a more popular league. And they're like, yeah, Ivan, it might be a more popular league. And watch, you have it all be Canadian players. The league is more popular. It won't make like $1 billion in revenue, but it'll do maybe $350-400 in revenue. It'll make more money, and the players can now make more money too. The cap will probably go up to maybe $8 million. And the players are making now more money than what the CFL players make now too. That's never going to happen, guys. I'm just saying, right? It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. You need to give the American guys an opportunity to play pro football too. But I'm just saying that's how the league makes more money. Oh, I mean, he's such a fucking dick, man. I'm just saying, guys. I don't hate him. I'm saying, yeah. I'm sorry. That's what I would do if I was like commissioner of the CFL. I would do that. Yeah. You want to blow our minds with this? I do. I have the keys, the gifts, obviously. Yeah. As the CIS is almost as good as the NCAA, right? The CIS is almost as good as the NCAA. It's almost as good, man. Yeah. I've seen CIS games. CIS is almost as good as the NCAA. But the NCAA is obviously better. It's a bit better, obviously, but the CIS is almost as good as the NCAA. It's amazing football, man. The Canadian players, a lot of American players think Canadian players suck and everything. Nah, man. The best Canadian players in Canada, guys, are almost as good as your best American players. As a lot of first round CFL draft picks, they get drafted in the NFL or they end up in the NFL. They have NFL opportunities. Obviously, but I told you the NFL has a bias towards Canadian players. Yeah, they don't really like Canadian players. They have a bias. Obviously, just like the CFL has a little bit of a bias. No, the CFL doesn't have a bias towards American players. They don't. But like the Canadian players get paid more money if they're star players because they're more valuable to the CFL than the American players, as I explained, obviously, right? Yeah. Because the Canadian star players playing in the CFL are actually the best players in Canada. Like they're the best of the best in Canada playing in the CFL. The American players, even though they have the edge over over the Canadian players, they're not the best players in America playing in the CFL. They're the NFL rejects who didn't get their NFL opportunity or who got caught in the NFL. So the Canadian players are seen as more valuable players than the American players. You guys get the picture there? Ah, that's what you're saying, yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Like imagine you had Nathan Rourke versus Brandon Bridge. Brandon Bridge retired. He retired obviously. He had his NFL opportunity. He came to the CFL. He didn't do that good. But imagine you have Brandon Bridge, Nathan Rourke, Trey Ford. You know what I'm saying? You have all these QB rivalries, and you have all the great Canadian receivers played in the league, the great linebackers, the great O linemen. It would be a more popular league, man. It would make more money, but the quality would dip a little bit if you don't have American players playing in there. That's the thing, though. It would dip a little bit. You have a little bit of a dip. Would it be a huge drop? No, not a huge drop, but it's a little drop in quality. Maybe a 10% drop in quality. Obviously. But it'd still be the second best league in the world. It would still beat out the Arena Football League and the European football. As the European football players are, the Canadian players are the second best players in the world. Like the Americans are number one, the Canadian players are the second best football players in the world. Canadian players number two. Canadian players are amazing football players. Obviously, my eldest stepbrother played for Team Canada back in 2009. The best players in Canada. He made the team. They got killed by the Americans, but a few years later, Team Canada beat Team USA Team Canada beat Team USA. That's how you know the Canadians are amazing players too. They beat Team USA, Team Canada. Yeah, that's how you know there's not that much of a. Even though the difference between the American players, before I talk about the pro league, and the Canadian players they don't have access to the same training that the players in the NCAA have. They're a little bit more raw. You know what I'm saying? But there's not that much. The best Canadian players are almost as good as the best American players. They're not as good, but they're almost as good as them, right? Hence why all these American players, when they come to CFL, they think they're gonna kill the league because yeah, we can take all these Canadian players and they play in the league like holy shit, man, like these Canadian players are good. Yeah, like it's entertaining football. Yeah, it's entertaining football. I'm sorry. As Nathan Rook is starting in the CFL and he has like 3,000 yards in the league, man, like he's doing good in the league. And the year before that, he led the league in yards, and he won the most outstanding Canadian. Hence why he ended up in the NFL. And all you NFL guys know Nathan Rook. He played for the Ravens, and he had like an amazing play. You know what I'm saying? But he got released. He didn't get a shot, obviously. But he got his NFL opportunity, but he didn't get a shot, obviously, right? And he ended up back in the CFL. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right, man, you're such a fucking dick, man. Like, you're putting us all American players down. Well, you guys have your NFL. The CFL is our league, man. You guys have your NFL. The CFL is our league. It's not your league. I'm not even saying, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, right. We can't do that. If we do that, the quality will down. Yes, the quality will dip a little bit, but you're gonna make more money. It'll make more money, man. You're gonna make more money, guaranteed. Because now you have the Canadians playing in a league, and you have greater rivalries, and it make more money, obviously. But if you do that, now the American players, in America who do not achieve their NFL dream, they don't have the opportunity to play pro football. But they can play in the Arena League, but the Arena League is a minor league. It's not a pro league, right? It's a pro minor league. The CFL is not a minor league. Even though it's kind of seen as a minor league, it's not a minor league. It's a pro football league too. They don't get that opportunity to play in the CFL. You got some saying? Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think all the coaches and GM should be just Canadian? No, 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 no. The coaches doesn't matter. You can have the American guys. It's good to have American coaches are very talented too. It's good to balance Canadian coaches with American coaches in the CFL and the GMs. That doesn't matter. But if you have elite just Canadian players, even though the quality go down, the league will make more money, and all these guys will make more money. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know how to blow my mind away? Yes, I do. I'm a genius. I know how to blow your mind away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even my younger stepbrother told me that. We had a conversation one day. He's like, yeah, Ivan. He's like, yeah, Ivan. If the league was just Canadian, all-star Canadian players, you know what I'm saying? The league would make more money. He told me that. He's like, yeah. The CIS. Before I talk about the Pro Hockey League, the CIS, man, like even though the CIS they don't have like I don't know 50,000 fans of the NCAA, the CIS they have like 4,000, 5,000 fans. Football in CIS is very popular. It's the most popular sport in the university. Whenever there's a game, whenever there's a game, it's packed. It's always packed. They have 5,000 fans going to the game. Everyone at the school, a good chunk of the school goes to the games and they watch the game. And they have something in Ottawa. They have a rivalry. They call it the Panda Game. My younger stepbrother, I saw one game because in Ottawa you have Ottawa University and you have Carleton University, and they have something called the Panda Game. And that Panda Game is so popular. They play in the Ottawa Redblacks CFL Stadium, and the whole school goes to like half the school goes to the event, and it's packed with 22,000 fans. One side is Ottawa U, and the other side is Carleton Ravens. They call it the Panda Game, and they play in the Ottawa Redblacks CFL Stadium, and the whole thing is packed. Obviously, and that's college football. So imagine if a lot of those star players played in the CFL, how much crazier it'd be. A lot of those fans at the university would be going to games, man. The league would make more money, man. I guarantee. And you market the Canadian players, and they can relate to them more because they're Canadian players. The league will make more money, but the quality would dip a little bit. That's the thing, though, right? It would dip a little bit because the star Canadian players are not as good as the star as the American players on average have are better than the Canadian players. But there's some star Canadian players who are just as good as the star American players, if not better. So you just context too. There are some star Canadian players who are better than the star American players. You see what I'm saying? That's the truth, man. Yeah. No, they're not, Ivan. Yes, they are. There are some star Canadian players playing in the CFL who are even better than some of the star American players. Obviously, some Sarah. Yeah. Oh, you're such a fucking dick, man. Guys, it's never gonna happen. I'm just throwing it out there. Obviously, but if I was commissioner of the CFL, that's what I would do. I'm like, hey, if you want this league to make money, you gotta get rid of all the American players. Like, we can't do that, man. Like, I'm like, look, man, you want this league to make money, more money? You have two choices. Either you sacrifice the quality dips a little bit, but you're gonna make more money, or you bring the American players who the Canadian fans don't really care that much about, the NFL rejects. The quality's a little bit better, but like the league is not making as much money, or you get rid of the American guys and you have it be all star Canadian players, and your league will make more money. Those are your two choices. You know, so all the board members, man, you're a genius, man. You know your business, your business. You have business smart. Yes, I do. I have business smarts too. And you market the Canadian players and everything. Yes. This guy played in this CIS university. You marketed. Yeah. Why and how can we get the word out there? Market a lot of the star players who play at university. Market it at the universities too. Market it there. So like you put like a billboard. Yeah, put it in all the universities in Canada. All the star players who played in that school who are now drafted in CFL, marketed. You have to market it a little bit, and that will build a lot of those fans who know those guys will go to the games. Well, how do you know that'll work? Well, a good example is the Panda game. In the CIS, you have something called the Panda game. You have a rivalry with the Carleton Ravens and the Ottawa University. It's such a crazy rivalry that they have to play in the CFL's Ottawa Red Black Stadium. And I went to the game. The whole thing was packed with 20,000 fans. The whole school went to the game, man. So, yeah, Ivan, this could be huge. You know what I'm saying? The league won't make $800 million, but you might make your $400 million in revenue, guys. Like $150 million more than what you're making right now. And your league will be more popular. But the quality will dip, Ivan. Yes, it'll dip, but you can have, if you have the best coaches, and some of the best coaches in America and Canada coach these guys, and you train a little bit better, you're still going to get very competitive football. Yeah, Ivan, the quality will dip, but it'll still be amazing football. CIS football is amazing. Yeah, CIS football is amazing, man. It's amazing football. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. That's what I would do if I was a CFL commissioner. Yeah, how do you want to grow? Let's say I was an average person and I got an opportunity to be a CFL commissioner. Because I'm such a genius, I would know I would probably boost the league. It would never be the NFL, but I would boost the league and be more popular. I would probably grow it to maybe a $450 million brand, and it's bigger as a CFL commissioner. I know I'm smart. I have the wisdom of God. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah, how can we grow the league? Oh, I'm like, look, man, I don't mean to be asshole, guys, man. Look, man, you know what I'm saying? Remember Herb Brooks in Miracle, how he told the, remember Herb Brooks in Miracle, how he told the committee, for the Olympics, obviously, he told them that, he wants to beat the Soviets. They thought he was crazy, obviously. And he's like, get rid of NHL All-Stars. I just want college players. And the committee is like, are you crazy? Like, you want college players to play in the Olympics, and you think these guys can beat the Soviets? He says, look, man, if we have proper training and everything, you know what I'm saying? I study them, we can beat them and everything. They thought he was crazy, and Herb Brooks pulled it off. Just like if I pitch this to the committee, they would think I'm crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I tell them my business strategy, and they're like, this is risky. I'm like, look, man, I know what I'm doing, man. If you do this, the league will generate more money. I know what I'm doing. Obviously, get rid of the American talent, have the best Canadian all star players play in the CFL, market them, at all the CIS universities all over. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have the CFL game going on. You'll make more money, guys, and you have to market them a little bit. Market the Canadian players a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, man, like, you're a genius, man. Like, this might actually work. This might actually boost league revenue, and before you know it, the league makes more money. It might not make $800 billion, but the league might pull in maybe $400 million in revenue, $500 in revenue, and the league is making more money. And now you can raise the cap to $8-9 million, and these guys are making a lot of money. Not NFL money, but they're making a lot of money now. The CFL pro athletes, right? Yeah. And the CFL will no longer be looked at as a minor league, obviously, because even though it's still the second best league in the world, obviously, but even though the Canadian players are not as good as the best American players in the NFL, it's the best Canadian players in Canada playing. It's the best of the best in Canada playing in the CFL. It's no longer seen as no longer be seen as a minor league. But because it's still the second best league in the world, it's still a little bit seen as a minor league, but it's no longer seen as a minor league. Obviously, because the reason why the CFL is seen as a minor league is because of the American rejects, obviously. Because those players are players who are not good enough, or either not good enough, or who do not get their opportunity in the NFL. That's why a lot of NFL players like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, they see the CFL as like a little bit of a minor league. That's what I'm saying. It's not a minor league, guys, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? You have the NFL rejects. They kind of see it as a minor league. It's not a minor league though. It's its own pro football league up here in Canada, but it's kind of seen as a minor league. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, you're such a fucking dick, man. Look, man, I'm just saying, man. I don't hate what I'm saying. Yeah. 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 And the CFL community would be like, hey, man, you're crazy, man. If I were commissioner, I'm saying, you're crazy, man. You want to get rid of all the American players. The quality will drop a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It will drop a little bit, but it won't really make that much of a difference. Obviously, and you're gonna make more money, man. I know what I'm doing, man. You're gonna make more money. As the fans don't really care that much about the American guys. They love the American star guys too, but they care more about the Canadian stars. The fans, they love those guys more. They love the American guys too, but they love the Canadians more in the CFL, because this is the Canadian Football League. This is our league, obviously, and the league would make more money. And if it did make $400 in revenue, now the league can afford to pay the players more. They can raise the cap to maybe $8 million, and the athletes can make more money. They can make their $500,000, $600,000, $300,000. The QBs can make their $1.3 million, $1.4 million, $1.4 million. It's now a healthy, good league, and it's making more money. You guys know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. They all think I'm crazy, just like they thought Herb Brooks was crazy. Get rid of the NHL athletes. I want college athletes in my team USA, and they thought he was crazy, but he trained them and everything, and they beat the Soviets and they won the gold medal round, right? Yeah. So Sarah? Yeah, coffee, guys. Either your younger brother, my younger brother told me that too. He's like, yeah, Ivan. He's like, yeah, Ivan. He's like, the truth is, even though the Americans are a little bit better than the Canadian players on average, obviously the Canadian players are a little bit more raw. if the CFL was just Canadian players, it'd be more popular league. He told me that. He's like, yeah, Ivan. He's like, it'll be more popular league. He told me that, man. He actually told me that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if the CFL was just Canadian players, the star Canadian players, the league would be more popular. He told me that. The fans don't really care that much about the American players in the CFL. They love them too. Don't get me wrong. They love the American players, but they love the Canadian players way more because the Canadian players have higher value than the American players in the CFL. Obviously, and the GMs know. Yeah, you're right. The Canadian players are more valuable to us than the American players. Yes, they are, because the American players are a dime a dozen. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously. Your ears are sick, I know. You know how to blow our minds with sports, I know. That's never going to happen, though. Because if you do that, then you're now limiting a lot of American players, a lot of American football players have dreams of playing pro football, obviously. As CFL's obviously all these guys' second choice in them all. Yeah, Ivan, if I don't make the NFL, I would love to be a pro player in the CFL. But even if you get your opportunity to be a pro football player in the CFL, guys, all you American players, it's not easy, man. You can get cut too, man. As a CFL is almost as good as your NFL, right? There's a lot of star NCAA athletes come up here and they do terrible and they get cut. You guys all know what's his name? Trey Smith, is that his name? The Heisman Trophy winner. What's his name? Who played in the NCAA? Trey Smith, is that his name? His name is Trey something, right? He played up here. Obviously, and he flopped, man. He did terrible in the CFL. And he was a greedy pig, too. Like, he was starting. He wanted, like, his $500,000. They thought he would be an amazing QB. He flopped. He did terrible up here. And he was a Heisman winner in the NCAA. He did terrible up here, man. Terrible. Yeah. Manziel, whatever his name is. Manziel. What's his name again? Manziel, the guy who played in the NCAA. He came out to CFL too. He was greedy too. He did terrible, man. Terrible too. Got cut. Michael Sam, who played in the NFL, he came up here, did terrible in the CFL. Got cut too. Yeah, man. Got cut. Yeah, because I told you, a lot of American players, they think the CFL is some shitty league, and then they come up here like, holy shit, they're shocked by how good it is. It's almost as good as the NFL. It's not the NFL, but it's almost as good as the NFL. As even Chad Johnson admitted that there's not that much of a difference. He played up here, he's like, holy shit, man, the talent is pretty much close. Yeah, Chad Johnson admitted it. He's an NFL legend. He said the talent in the CFL and NFL is not that different, man. There's not that much of a difference. The NFL's better, obviously, but it's not much better. Like, a lot of these guys think the NHL's way better than the CFL. It's not. The talent is pretty close, man. There's not that much of a drop in talents in both leagues, right? There's not that much of a drop in talent, man. That's why a lot of even NCAA Heisman Trophy winners, they come up here and they play and they do terrible and they get released. And Chad Johnson did terrible in the CFL. He got cut after like 1 year. He was old, but he did terrible in the CFL, Chad Johnson. And he killed the NFL, but he came up here, he did terrible in the NFL. Terrible. And CFL. Ocho Cinco, right? Chad Johnson, he did terrible. Yeah. Because, and don't forget, the CFL and the NFL are two different systems. The CFL is more passing, NFL is more like balance with running and yeah. Obviously. Well, the NFL is better, obviously. I've seen the games. The NFL is clearly better, but there's not like a huge drop in quality, right? There's a little bit of a drop in quality, but the CFL is almost as good as the NFL. That's what I'm saying. But it's not the NFL. The NFL is a better league, guys. It's not, the NFL's number one. I don't hate what I'm saying. But CFL's number two. That's what I'm saying. Ricky Williams. You guys don't remember Ricky Williams? The NFL running back? Yeah, he came to the CFL too. Everyone thought he would kill the league. He did terrible in the CFL too, man. I'm not lying. Ricky Williams, the all-star NFL running back, like years ago, he came up to the CFL. He played here. He did terrible, guys. He didn't do good in the CFL. And he probably thought, yeah, I'm going to come up here and kill the league and everything. He did terrible. He didn't do good in the league. And that's how you know there's not that much of a difference in talent in the NFL and the CFL. A lot of these guys think the CFL is some shitty league. And the NFL blows out of the water. The only thing the NFL blows the CFL out of the water is in operating budget and revenue. But in terms of talent, there's not that much of a drop in quality, guys. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys who have NFL experience and guys who win Heisman trophies, they come to the CFL and a lot of these guys are flops and they do terrible. As Michael Sam, Johnny Manziel, all these guys played up here. Trey Smith, whatever his name is. Troy Smith? That's his name, Troy Smith. Troy Smith was a Heisman winner. The best player in the NCAA. He came up to the CFL. He flopped in the CFL. He didn't do good up here, man. True story, I'm not lying. Yeah. So a lot of the athletes, a lot of the American athletes who didn't get their NFL opportunity, you know what I'm saying? They come up here, they think they're going to kill the league. And then they play in the league, they're like, holy shit, man, this is fucking competitive football. And they don't do that good, and they get cut, man. They get released. A lot of these guys get cut. Some Sarah? A lot of these guys get cut, man. Yeah, man. But even then, the CFL is not the NFL. The NFL is clearly the better league. I'd say there's maybe a 15% maybe drop in quality around there in the ratio. NFL is like 100%, CFL is like 85, 84%. Maybe a 15% drop in quality. Maybe around there, 12% drop in quality. I think Chad John, I would agree with that. There's a little bit of a drop in quality, but it's not that much of a difference. Yeah, there's not that much of a difference. So I'm sorry. Yeah. Michael Sam flopped. Yeah, Michael Sam flopped in the CFL as a D lineman. He did terrible in training camp. He went up against O lineman. He did terrible. He did so bad. They thought he'd be a star player. They offered him a lot of money and everything, but Michael Sam he flopped and they cut his ass, man. He did terrible, man. And Johnny Manziel did terrible too. And he was supposed to be like an NFL like first overall pick. I heard he was the biggest bust in one of the biggest busts in history. He came to the CFL, he flopped hardcore. And Ricky Williams flopped too in the CFL. He was a star running back in the NFL. He flopped too in the CFL. He didn't do good in the CFL. These are star NFL players, right? They come to the CFL. Some of these guys flop too, and they're star players in the NFL. That's how you know there's not that much of a difference in quality, man. The NFL is clearly the better league, but there's not that much of a difference in quality. The NFL it just has the advantage with their revenue and their money, but in quality, there's not that big of a drop. There's a little bit of a drop, but there's not that much of a drop in quality. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The CFL's Ivan, thank you, Ivan, man. Like, thank you for supporting us that, man. You're welcome, guys. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't really watch the CFL, I'm Canadian. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a debate between an NFL player and a CFL player, I'd be like, look, man, I know the NFL is better than the CFL, but there's not that much of a drop in quality, man. I know you think this league is some shitty league. It's not. It's almost as good as your league. It's almost. And all the American players who played in CFL, well, no, I mean, you're right. We thought the CFL would be some shitty league, and we come here, and the quality, the talent is almost as good as the NFL. Yes, it is. It's almost as good as the NFL. Some of your star players, guys, in the NFL who came up here did terrible. They didn't do great in the CFL, and they were star players. Ricky Williams came to the CFL. He did horrible, and he got cut after like one season. He flopped up here. And yeah, that he was Ricky Williams, right? Johnny Manziel, Heisman Trophy winner. He's supposed to be a first overall pick in the NFL. I'm saying he came to the CFL. He flopped to Troy Smith, the Heisman winner of the NCAA years ago, came to the CFL. He flopped too. He didn't do good, man. He was a horrible quarterback. It was horrible. You know, I mean, he was bad, man. Yeah, I saw the game. You know what I'm saying? He was, yeah, I flopped over. Yeah, you did, man. You flopped, and they cut your ass, man, because you did terrible up here, man. But he probably thought he'd come here and kill it because these Americans think the CFL is some shitty league. It's a shitty quality league compared to the NFL. It's not, guys. It's almost as good as your NFL, man. It's almost as good as your NFL. It's quality football. It is, man, son. The CFL's Ivan, thank you, man, for standing up that, man. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm saying you're welcome. Yeah, that's what I say. Anyways, enough about the CFL and the NFL. I'll talk about the Pro Hockey League. Samsara? Wow, do you think there'd be a lockdown with the star athletes in Pro Hockey League? Yeah, they would be. But look, man, if you don't like what I'm paying you, go play in the NHL and make less money, man, if you don't like what I'm paying. This is not going to happen, guys. I'm just speaking hypothetically. I'm just saying, if I did start that Pro Hockey League, if these athletes want more money, I'm not paying them more money. I'm not going to have these guys stoop me, man. You make $20 million, $25 million, $30 million a season. That's good enough. Even though I'm making all the billions, I'm still making sure you get paid. This is more money than what all these athletes are making in the other pro leagues. Samsara? Yeah. Samsara? Yeah. Now, how would you have the SHL be better than the NHL? You have to draft. You now have to draft. You now have to compete with the NHL with drafting players. That's the only way for your league. They're going to tell me, yeah, if you want to start your SHL, if you want your league to be just as good as the NHL, you now have to draft the best players in Canada and the juniors and NCAA and Europe. But the NHL also needs to be the best too. So now you have a bidding war with the NHL. All these players who are eligible for the NHL draft, they're also eligible for the SHL draft. You guys see Sarah? But most of the best players in the world will end up in my league, and the NHL will take some of the best players. And some of the players in my league who get cut and released, some of them will end up in the NHL now. Because my league is so good that even the players who get cut are still good players. And those good players end up in the NHL, and some of those players might kill the NHL now. But the NHL will not be seen as a minor league. It's still like a big pro football league. Because they're still paying the players in millions as a big league, but it's not my league. I can pay the players way more than what they make in the NHL. Sorry. Yeah. That's a comment is in Glasgow. All right, man, don't do this, man. If you do this, man, you're gonna make us like shit, man. Well, you got what you deserve, man. You want to keep me behind the scenes and cause this mess. Well, no, I'm kidding. If I start that pro hockey league, you feel like shit and you miss out on the opportunity, man. Oh, you're such a fucking dick, man. If you do it, there's a word to be crushed. Well, you get what you fucking deserve, guys. You want to do this evil to me, VJ. Now I'm a famous pro hockey athlete, and all these athletes are famous with me, and they're making way more money than what you made, and they got to play in a better league than your league. And you play in the Gatekeepers NHL. Listen, you get what you deserve. Carries Ivan, like even though I would love to see his movies, I wouldn't mind seeing you as a pro hockey athlete. I played hockey when I was younger, Ivan. Carries will tell me that, yeah. Because Keanu Reeves wanted to play pro hockey when he was a kid. He played hockey, but he got injured or something like that. and he ended up pursuing acting, which is a good choice. Obviously, he now he's a successful Hollywood actor himself. Successful Hollywood actor himself, yeah. Some Sarah. Yeah, yeah. I would really upgrade the skates. Yes, I would. I want you to create personalized SHL. I like you don't want to buy like skates from other brands. No, no, no. I want the league to create SHL skates, SHL sticks, and upgrade it. Oh, we can upgrade it. Yeah, upgrade the skates so we get better power skating for the players. That way we get a better performance on the ice, power skating performance, and upgrade the sticks. That way the players are better players on the ice. Can you upgrade the quality of the ice, Ivan? We can do that too, but it'll just cost you millions. I'm like, guys, I can afford it. Ivan, you wanna take it to that level? Yeah, do whatever you can to make this league better, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to upgrade the cameras for the broadcast? Yeah, upgrade the cameras for the broadcast. Have it be 4K. Ivan, NHL's 1080p. Yeah, have it be 4K broadcast. That way it's a better experience. Ivan, man, like this league is gonna blow the NHL the water. I know. Well, Ivan, man, like this is gonna be a better league than the NHL. I know, man. I know. Not even you want a 200 million salary cap? Yeah, 200 million salary cap. Ivan, the NHL, they only have like a $90 million salary cap, Ivan. I know. Ivan, this is gonna blow the NHL the water, man. Like all these athletes are making more money than what the NHL athletes are making. I know. Like Ivan, like this is more money than what like LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes makes. I know. Obviously. But I told you the only way a player will make more than Patrick Mahomes or like LeBron James is if the guy is a generational talent, like Carmen Davis and Sidney Crosby. Those guys can make Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James money even more than what those guys make, obviously. Some Sarah. As those guys will be signing 500, 600 million dollar deals. So Carmen Davis and Sidney Crosby, it's too late for you guys. Don't hate him, Sam. It's not going to happen, guys. But hypothetically speaking, when I start that pro league, those guys will be signing 500, 600 million deals, like 10 years, 600, 500 million deals, man. Even LeBron James doesn't make that in the NBA, and he's a star and NBA legend, man. Yeah, like my league was blowing all these pro sport leagues out of the water. That's why the Gates wanted to sell Ivan that way they can dupe you. But I have the keys. I wrote my author's name's book. These billions are mine. I know the 30 billion off the book is mine. You know what I'm saying? I might make more. I might make my 40, 50 billion off my book. That money's mine. You're not touching it. There you go. You make your trillions around the world. This money's mine. It's for me, but it's not for you. But guys, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, this guy's name is VJ. I'm just saying. I'm just entertaining you guys and putting on a show. You know what I'm saying, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. And because of paying the athletes more money, they're going to work harder for me. Like, all the athletes are not going to be lazy. Like, look, man, you can choose to be lazy, but I'm just saying, man, if you want to be lazy and you don't train the off season, you don't do your off ice training and your on ice training. If your performance dips in quality and you get released, man, don't come complain to me, man. That's not my problem. With some athletes, when they get released, they might because they know I'm the boss. They might tell me, oh, man, like I got released by the coach, man. Can you convince him to keep me on? My guys, man. Even though I own the league, man, I gave all the coaches have power to do whatever they want to do to make their team better, man. It's out of my hands, guys. But they might complain, you Iron Man, man. I might look, man. I'm sorry, man. You know what I'm saying? I might look, man. Even though you got released, man, chances are the NHL will pick you up. Yeah, but Iron Man, I don't want to play in the NHL. I want to play in your league. Yeah, they don't want to play in the NHL anymore. They don't want to play. They see it as a failure. Now, the athletes who get released in my league, even though they're playing in a quality league like the NHL, they see it as a failure playing there because the NHL is a side tension now. Like, yeah, I'll make my millions, but I'm not making the kind of money Ivan's making. I'm not world famous anymore. I'm famous. I have side fame. I don't have the kind of fame that the athletes have in Ivan's. Yeah, they feel like shit. Yeah, that's how much better my SHL will be than the NHL. It's actually fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah. And so all these NHL star legends are gonna feel like shit, man, because they missed out on an opportunity to be world famous with Ivan. Yeah, I would love to play hockey with Ivan. Everyone's dream will be to play on my team, because the players playing on my team are the luckiest because they're saved and they get to play with Ivan. But even the players playing in the other teams are lucky too, they're still part of the buzz and everything of the league, and they're world famous. It's crazy. Yeah. So sorry. Why will all these NHL stars feel like shit? Because they even though they got to play in the NHL, the NHL is no longer number one. It's number two. My league is number one because I took it to the next level. Better training programs, you know what I'm saying? Upgrade skates, sticks, I'm saying higher paying work, better facilities, better perks. Yeah, I missed out and crazier fame. Yeah, I missed out on an opportunity. And they also missed out on the opportunity to make all that money, man. These athletes would have made way more money playing my league than they would have ever made in the NHL. They would have made way more money in their career earnings. As the NHL, athletes peak at like a $140 million, $150 million deal in the NHL. They peak at that. NHL athletes peak at like $150 million deals. 10-year, $150 million deals they peak at the NHL. Whereas my league, the good players make that. The good players sign like their 150, 160 million deal. The star players are all signing their 200 plus million, 200, 300, 400, 500 million deals, man. The star players. On average, 200 to 300 the star players are making in my league. Whereas the ones who make 400 or 500 are only the generational talents. As I told you, a GM would never pay a player $40, $50 million in my league. You're affecting the cap unless the guy is in generational talent like Sidney Crosby, Carmen, David Ovechkin. Those guys can make that. They can make their $50, $40, $45 million working and playing my league. But I told you, I'm talking to you guys. It's too late for you guys. You're already getting old. You guys are all retired. It's too late for you guys. Don't hate them, saying. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, those guys were born in a generation and played in my league. They would make that kind of money, man. Way more money than what they ever made in the NHL. Some Sarah. Yeah. You also have speaking earnings too, right? Don't forget that, right? The athletes will also have speaking engagements too and all stuff. Yeah. And the sport agents can make more money too from the players. Because sport agents, I heard, only take 5% of the players' earnings, obviously, in sports. So even the agents now, that's why the sport agents will get greedy. Some agents might want maybe, this guy's a star generational talent. You know what I'm saying? They might ask the GMs for $40 million of the team revenue. The GM will say, no, we can't do that. We're going against league policy. The league policy, we can't go any higher than 20 million, and the agent might want 40 of the team revenue. Look, man, no athlete ever playing in this league is ever getting $40 million in my fucking money for league revenue. They're not worth that, man. They don't peak any higher than 20, man. I'm not gonna have these guys do me. Even Carmen Davis and Crosby, they played my league. I would never pay them more than 20. They're not worth it more. Now, man, this is Carmen Davis. Yeah, he may be Carmen Davis and he has rare talent. He may be Sidney Crosby. He may be Alex Ovechkin. But like, they're already making enough. They don't make this in the NHL. If they were playing my league hypothetically, They're not worth any more than this. And they know it. All right, that's not my dream. I'm just messing, man. I'm just fucking green, man. I want to raise, man. Look, man, like you don't make this in the NHL, guys. Like NHL players sign like $30 million deals for their 3-year contract, man. And like all these athletes are making $30 million a year from my league. That's more than what like a lot of these NHL players don't make that, man. NHL players peak at like $60 million. Some saying? That's what they peak at, right? Yeah, they peak at like $60 million. Austin Matthews, I believe, is the highest paid player in the NHL. He only makes like $60 million, Austin Matthews. Yeah. But visual told me Ivan, man, like, I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, I'm saying, Ivan, man, if you want to play pro hockey, you really want to take that risk and play pro hockey. Like, what if you're not good? I know that's risky. What if I'm not a great player? Hence why it's not happening, guys. I'm just throwing hypothetically speaking. It's much safer, Ivan, to just act. I know, VJ, acting is safer. Acting, I just gotta act and I put on a show, and then I'll make more money acting too. Honestly, because Ivan, like, it's much cooler me and you being movie stars than you being a pro athlete. I know, VJ, that's my dream. I want to be a movie star with you. It's not being a pro athlete. It's being a movie star with you, VJ. Right, sweetie? Yeah, Ivan, that's my dream. Yeah, that's my dream. I'm sorry. But being a pro athlete is my second choice. Yeah. Ivan, man, why not football and basketball? Okay, football is tough, man. And football, you have the injuries. And basketball is too tough. Basketball's fucking hard, man. Dunking and everything, yeah, that's too tough. Basketball's too tough. And baseball's boredom. Baseball's too boring. Obviously. And come on, guys. What's the one sport whereby it'd be the most coolest thing, Ivan? Is it you really think it's cooler seeing me playing football compared to me playing hockey? Yeah, Ivan, you playing hockey would be cooler. It is. It would be cooler me playing hockey than me playing the other sports, obviously. Yeah. And one reason why I want to play hockey, because I'm Canadian and hockey's Canada's sport, I want to rub it in all those American people's faces who don't really respect hockey that much in America. As you notice, when all these sport guys talk about sports, they leave the hockey players out in the NHL because the Americans don't are not that they're not big fans of hockey. So it wouldn't hurt to start a hockey league that now blows all the NBA and the NFL out of the water. Now Ivan has a hockey league, which is Canada's sport, and now that league is blowing all these leagues out of the water. And these famous hockey players are making more than all these NFL and NBA athletes. Obviously, some center. Because even though NHL players get paid a lot of money, they get paid their millions. Obviously, the NHL players are not as respected as the other players in America. They're respected in Canada, but they're not as respected in the other in America compared to the other players in the other league. Americans don't respect NHL players compared to how much they respect NBA and NFL players. They're biased, obviously, because they know hockey is Canada's sport. They don't respect NHL players as much as they respect them a lot. They're still pro athletes. They respect them, obviously, but like they don't respect them as much as like the NBA and like NFL legends and stars. It's like I see my brother. He watches sports shows all the time, like Skip Bayless, Shannon. You know Shannon. You know what I'm saying? He watches all those guys on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? They never talk about the NHL. But yeah, we don't really care that much about hockey, man, because we see hockey as a weird sport with people on ice. Yeah, but guys, hockey is an amazing sport, man. It's just as entertaining as these other sports that you guys watch. Yeah, it is entertaining, but like we're Americans, we don't really care that much about hockey down here. I know you do, and that's why the NHL is the least popular of the Big Four. It's still part of the Big Four, but it's the least popular of the Big Four in the NHL. But if I start that league, now all these hockey athletes are more famous than all these other, don't hate me guys, they're more famous than all these NBA, NFL athletes, don't hate me guys, I'm saying. And they're making more than all these guys too. Yeah, and hockey will now be the most popular sport in the world. It's now more popular than football and basketball, man. And all these sport anchors are full of shit. Yeah, even though we're talking about I don't know, Patrick Mahomes is now retired. He's a legend. I don't think he'll beat Tom Brady. Don't hate Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is now retired. He's a legend in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And all these sport guys are talking about like Patrick Mahomes and you know what I'm saying, and Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And they feel like shit. Yeah, we can talk about all these athletes all we want. Ivan is now the main event. He's a pro hockey athlete, and all these hockey athletes are more famous than all these athletes in these leagues. Yeah, they are, and they're making more money too. Making more money too, right? Yeah, yeah. Ivan, like the Americans, yeah, hockey players in Canada, everybody respects them. They're so famous in Canada. In America, they're pretty famous, but they're not as famous as the NBA guys and the MLB guys and the NFL guys, because hockey is not America's sport. It's football and basketball, whereas Canada, hockey is Canada's sport. Am I right, John? Yeah, John has you're right. That's true. Yeah, it's true. Obviously, just like CFL players are not as respected in Canada because football is not Canada's sport, and it's not that popular up here, and that's why you CFL players are not millionaires here, and your league is not that big because Canada is just not that popular, and football is not that popular in Canada. Yeah, it'd be nice for football to be popular in Canada. It's not, guys. Football is just not that popular in Canada. Hence why you guys are not making your millions. You guys will never see your millions, and you're not worth your millions. But the reason why you guys are not making that much money for the other leagues is because football is not popular in Canada, guys. It's way more popular in the States. That's why the NFL is so big. Because people love football in America. Yeah, we love football down here. Yeah, people in America love their football, man. Because they don't really care that much about hockey. Yeah. That's why the NHL is the least is the smallest league of the big four. Obviously, right? NHL is number 4 out of the big 4 leagues. It goes NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL is number 4. Because it's still a big league and it makes billions, it's still part of the big 4, but it's the smallest league of the big 4. You guys know what I'm saying? And that's why the NHL players get the smaller contracts. They don't get paid as much as the other players in the other league. Because the league doesn't make as much money. Don't hate what I'm saying. Yeah, it doesn't make as much money. As NHL players peak at like $60 million. Like, these are star athletes. They peak at, like, Sidney Crosby only peaked at $12 million, man, in the NHL. Yeah, he only peaked at 12. Connor McDavid peaked at 13.5. Austin Matthews peaked at 16 to 15. Ovechkin peaked at 14. Yeah. That's why hypothetically speaking, if I started that pro hockey league, it wouldn't hurt for you know what I'm saying, Ivan, to pay the players more money. That way they get paid more than what they make in the NHL. But the athletes get greedy. I'm not paying more money, guys. This is good enough. If you're greedy and you want to raise and you don't like what I'm paying you because I'm making way more than you and you're making peanuts, if the peanuts are not good enough for you, go play in the NHL and make way less money, man. I like what I'm paying you, Samsara. How are they speaking, Samsara? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of cost, man. I also have to pay for all the planes. Yeah, yeah, every man, and you have to have chartered flights for each of the teams for the players and the coaches. So yeah, so you have to charter 25 planes. Ivan, how much money you want to put towards the planes? Okay, put a good 30 million towards the planes. You're looking at billions of, yeah, 30 million times 25, man. That's $750 million in costs. So so you want to buy $30 million chartered flights for each team for the coaches and the players when they travel. You also have to buy coaches, Ivan. Yeah, you have to buy coaches, obviously. You have coach buses. The coach buses, you know how professional athletes have coach buses? Yeah, you have the coach buses and you have the planes. The coach buses is cheaper, but to charter, to buy $30 million chartered flights, $30 million, that's another $750 million in costs. That's why I have to put like 50 million towards it. It's a lot of money, man. I can easily afford it. Yeah. Yeah, you have to pay for their hotel costs when they travel. I know. When they go to their away games, you have to pay for their hotel, the players' hotel costs. And that's all part of the league budget, right? Yeah, man. You want to give the players a per dime, yes, but don't give them like a $300 per dime. They're already rich and make enough money. Give the players a $150 per dime when they travel, obviously, to buy their stuff. Obviously, that's good enough. I what about 300? No, guys, you're already making your millions, man. You get your $150 per dime. That's good enough. Because in sports, you have something called a per dime, where the athletes get money when they travel. They get like 120, $150, a little bit of money, cash, obviously. You want red card events? Yes, you have red card events for the awards and everything, like the NHL does. All that stuff. You have red carpet events. You have the awards, everything like the NHL. But we better than the NHL. Yeah, there you go. Be better than the NHL. That's why even Wayne Gretzky's like, oh, man, I'm not kidding around, man. Don't do this, us, man. If you do this and all these guys become legends in your league, we're gonna feel like shit. Because we're all gonna wish we could play with you. Yeah, I'm gonna feel like shit, those guys. Even Wayne Gretzky, the great one, will feel like shit, man. He's a legend in the NHL, but he didn't get an opportunity to be a legend in my league. And I told you, even though like Sidney Crosby, Carmen David, and Ovechkin, all these guys will be legends in the NHL, they're legends in the second best league in the world. They're not legends in the best league in the world anymore. That's why they feel they would be legends in my league, but because they never got the opportunity, they're all gonna wonder, okay, like Ivan's league is better than the NHL. It's more competitive hockey. How would I have done in that league? Even though I know they would be, they know they would be legends. They're never gonna know because they're old now. They never got the opportunity, right? Yeah, because the players in my league, everyone's playing at a more competitive level than they do in the NHL. So even these star players playing in the NHL now, even though they would kill my league, they might not maybe do as good, but they would still kill the league. But they like Harmony and Rod will always have that thought: how would I have done in Ivan's league? I think they would destroy the league and be legends, but they're gonna have that thought, that self doubt thought. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna feel like as if they missed out on the opportunity, obviously, because now they're old. They can't play hockey anymore at a high level. They're retired and old. That's why the only thing they might do, okay, I didn't get an opportunity to play in Ivan's league, but it wouldn't hurt to maybe coach in his league. I'd love to be a head coach in maybe. I would love to maybe be a legendary NHL, SHL coach in Ivan's league and make all that money. But I mean, just because you're a great player doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great coach, right? Yeah, Gretzky flopped as a coach. Gretzky was not that great of a coach. That's what I'm saying. Gretzky flopped as a coach, right? He wasn't that great of a coach, Gretzky. Like, would you give some of these athletes an opportunity to coach in the league? Yeah, they have an opportunity to apply, but like it's out of my hands, man. It's up to the presidents to hire whoever they want to hire, man. So Sidney Crosby and all these guys, okay, I didn't get an opportunity to play in Ivan's league, but it wouldn't hurt to maybe be a GM or their goal now will be okay. I didn't get to play in Ivan's league, but it wouldn't hurt for me to be maybe a head coach. They now have that dream of maybe being a legendary GM. They might want a president position, but like chances are they're not going to get a president position if they don't have experience. Those guys, they're going to choose someone else who has experience in the NHL. As a lot of ex GMs and coaches are going to be applying to my league to coach in my league. Yeah, they have that advantage. Those guys don't have coaching experience. They don't have front office general managing experience. They don't have that experience. Obviously, you guys see what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind being a sports anchor, but sport anchors don't get paid as much. No, but if the guy's a star, like if the guy was a star NHL athlete, you can pay the guys millions. You can pay them their millions. Like I'll do a thing where like all the players who retire in minor league, the league can give them opportunities to be in the front office, president positions. You know what I'm saying? Coaching positions and also sport anchoring positions, and they sign multi-million-dollar deals for that. Only the sport athletes get that. If the guy's an average guy who doesn't have sporting experience, that guy won't get any more than maybe $300,000. But if the guy is an ex-athlete playing in my league, he's retired, they can sign their multi-million-dollar deals. Like Tom Brady signed a 10-year, $300 million deal as a sport anchor in the NFL, right? He's making $30 million a year as a sport anchor, Tom Brady. In the NFL broadcasting, yeah, so you can give players opportunity to do that after they retire. That will now be those athletes' dreams. Okay, I can't play anymore, but it wouldn't hurt to be a sport anchor in this league or maybe be a GM or a coach. But your chances of getting the job is not high, obviously, right? No, that's my point, right? It's not high, obviously, because you have a lot of competition. They don't have that experience, those guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. They don't have that experience. It's guaranteed all the broadcasters who, before I'm done here, all the broadcasters who work in the NHL, the player other guys, are all going to apply to work for my league. They're all going to apply. Yeah, I'm out of the NHL, man. I'd rather work for Ivan's fucking league. He can pay me more. Obviously. But you have to watch out for the sport anchors and broadcasters Ivan do. If they get greedy and want more money, man, I'm not paying you guys more money, man. Some play-by-play guys might want a $1 million salary. Look, man, you're not worth that. I'm not paying you any more than maybe $300K as a play-by-play guy, man. That's good enough. You don't make that in the NHL. You peak at like 150, 200K in the NHL as a play-by-play guy. That's good enough. You're living a great life with that money, right? Well, I deserve my million. No, you don't, man. You're not the NHL stars, athletes. You're not worth this, man. I'm not gonna have you guys do this. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's why my league will blow the NHL out of the water. Even the guys will tell me, yeah, if you want to start your SHL, yeah, you want to put $15 billion towards your 25-team league. I'm like, yeah, like building all your arenas, your salary cap, the operating budget for each team, and like and the facilities. You want to have better facilities, everything. I man, like better training runs. I man, and you want to draft the best players in the world. Yeah, I man, this league is the NHL story. This is better than the NHL. I know, it's better than the NHL, man. It's better than the NHL. Better than the NHL. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stay tuned. I might make maybe another video, maybe at nighttime today. I don't remember saying on peace. Hope you guys will enjoy this hypothetical video of Ivan's Pro Hockey League. And I hope all you American football players now understand when I talk about the difference between the CFL and the NFL, right? Yeah, there's not that much of a drop in quality, guys. You I know a lot of you guys think it's a shitty league. The NFL is much better. There's not that much of a difference in quality. As Chad Johnson even admitted it in an interview, right? And Chad Johnson is a legend in the NFL. And he played up here. And you go watch his interview on YouTube, he's like, yeah, there's not that much of a difference. He's like, the talent here is not, there's not that big of a, I think he overstated. He said it's pretty much the same talent. I think he was over-exaggerating. The NFL is better than the CFL, but there's not that much of a drop in quality of talent. That's my point, right? Because I know a lot of you American football players, you think the CFL is some shitty league, man, whereby it's like the NFL is way better in talent. Nah, man, there's not that much of a difference in talent. It's pretty close. The NFL's better. It's more talented, obviously. There's not that much of a drop of a difference in quality, right? All see for all right, man. Thank you, man, for signing out to us. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Oh, hey, I'm saying. It's all right, man. I'm signing off. Peace. I'll catch you on this show.